Hi friends, welcome back to the channel today. Today we're going to talk about the 9 support systems that you need in your life to be an amazing foster parent slash adoptive parent. So, hi guys, welcome back to the channel today. I'm excited to bring you all these amazing support systems that I have in my life that I have learned throughout the 7 years of being a foster parent slash adoptive parent. And I want to just share them with you as a precious gift because, to be honest with you guys, when I first started in foster care 7 years ago as my oldest 2 sons, I was a little bit lost. I was a little bit like, I don't know what I'm doing. And now, you know, all these years later, I adopted 4 kids from the foster care system. I have had several kids come through our home, and now we're starting our China adoption process. I have learned that a support system is a beautiful thing. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you weird. It just means that you're human and you need support, and you need to know that there's resources out there for you as an adoptive parent, or a foster parent. So that being said, let's get into these 9 things and let's do it here. So first one I want to talk about is Facebook groups. And you might be thinking, what? Facebook, social media, what are you talking about here, Winter? And I'm thinking, like, these have been so valuable to me. I have gotten into them in the last maybe 3 years here, and really in the last probably since I started doing the China adoption here. The groups I really want to point out to you guys is the foster care and adoption group. This one's super awesome. It has adoptees in there, it has birth parents in there, and it also has foster parents and foster to adopt parents in there. And they ask all sorts of questions in there. Everything is like, you can ask whatever you want, and it's super helpful, super valuable, and it's just eye-opening to say, oh, someone else is dealing with that too. That's not so weird. Also, there's literally a group for everything, but the one that I love because of the China adoption is called China Adoption Questions. That resource page is so important. That Facebook group is so important to my life that I go on there and read things daily, and I've asked several questions on there. It's actually saved me money because it helped me found different doctors that were cheaper, that were amazing, and just different things that we could do for our China adoption that were fantastic. So super valuable. It doesn't make you feel weird. It's cleared up lots of questions for me, and I've actually been able to give back and help and answer a lot of questions that people have been having in the area of foster care. Maybe not in the China adoption one yet. I mean, I'm getting there. We haven't adopted from there yet, but we'll get there. Right now I'm gleaning, and then eventually I'll be able to give back. I actually do have a Facebook group for our community, which I love, and it's super invaluable. Honestly, it's amazing, and I really, really appreciate those groups so much. So number 2 is church family. Oh my goodness, like, you need your church, not just for like your spiritual growth, but also just for people to be in your life and to know your kids and to treat them like they're part of the community, and to show your kids like how to have a faith. And there's just so many awesome things about having a church community. Ours is particularly awesome in my opinion. It's like the best church ever. I might be a little biased, but they are fantastic. They're always praying for us. They've given us gift cards before, and they've just really blessed us, and I really love our church. And our kids have kids their age. There's adoptive children in there, and like, I just love our church. The third resource is to have foster and adoptive families in your life. I remember with one of our sons, they were biting on their bedpost, and I was like, this is just crazy, like, behavior. Like, this has never been done. And so I was talking to one of my adoptive mom friends that go to my church, and I was like, this is what's happening, and I'm like just overwhelmed. She's like, oh, my son did that too. And I'm like, really? Thank you. And she just gave me some like words of encouragement, and that's like, hey, this is what I do at night. I go and I lay hands on them and I pray for them in their beds, and then I also like do this to make sure they feel secure, and I do this to make sure that their needs are met, and like just so many super valuable things. And like I know her kids, and like they're great, you know, like, so it's nice to have like that physical person in front of you, not just an online relationship. So it's just really nice to have people in your life that have done it before, and you can see them interact with their children, and you know what's normal and not normal. For instance, I have a friend that I'm really close to that adopted from China as well, and I was having a huge like mental block about the dossier to China, and she was just like, she just broke it down easy for me, and it was like any kind of silly question I had, I was like, I just asked her, and I was like, oh, you did that with that kid and did this with this kid, and like she was just like, this is okay, like you're gonna be fine, you're gonna make it, super encouraging. And she asked me like, how's your adoption process going? Like, thank you, because she understands how important it is to have someone in your life that is looking in and asking you questions about that, because you know you're thinking about it all the time. You're the adoptive mom or dad. They're excited about your victories, and they're broken with you when you have heartaches, and they'll pray with you, or they'll relate to you. Like I said, like it's just really nice to have other people in your life to be like, hey, like I've done this before too, like it's okay. Number 4 support system is trainings, books, and movies. Our Child Protective Services, they put on a training for us about Native American children, and it was all about ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act. It was all about the core values of Native children, and we have 2 Native American children that we adopted, and I thought that was so great. I still refer back to that training on a regular basis, and it was super great for my life to take them up on that offer of doing that training. And also books, guys. I think I've recommended this one book to you before. It's by Karyn Purvis. It's called The Connected Child. I literally think that every adoptive mom or dad should read this book. Like, you should go buy it today. It's really great. It just goes through a very extensive way of looking at your adoptive children, and like why when you discipline it doesn't work the way it does with the biological child. Like all these things, it really just hones in on some of the main issues. Really good for trauma. I really recommend that. There's tons of other books out there, tons of other resources, and then even movies, guys. I love movies. Really great. I love when there's a good movie that talks about adoption and it just makes you feel awesome. Like, I love those kind of things. Number 5, I know this one seems odd, so if you have an Instagram account, I would encourage you to follow the hashtags foster care or hashtag adoption. So that being said, when you're scrolling through your Instagram, you are seeing other people that have done foster care and other people that have adopted, and you don't feel like you're weird. Like, there's a whole community of people out there, guys, that do foster care, that do adoption, that do adopt, and like they are super they're so a well of the internet. That's so great. And so those hashtags are so great. So when you're scrolling through your Instagram account, if you have one, of course, they'll pop up photos of and different like little stories. Some of them are super interesting. It's like a little training in and of itself, and it's just really inspiring for me. It helps me keep going throughout the day, and I just love it personally. I think it's great. Helps me refocus. All right, and number 6 is friends and family, and that is not just a small one, of course. I know that some people, they don't have a lot of people in their life that support their decision to do adoption or foster care, but you should have some friends, even if they never adopted before, to be in your life, to give you support, for someone that you could talk to and they can talk to you. That is something that I'm so spoiled with. My mom and my sisters, they're so supportive, and I just love them so much. They've always been supportive of what we did. I have a video of it, but I can put it in the link below for you guys, of my mom and sister talking about how they have loved our children, our foster children, as like auntie and as grandma since day one, and that's been super valuable to me. I've already called my mom once today, for instance, because our foster son is a little sick today, and I just was like, hey, what do I need to do? A little bit of panic. So it's just so great. Such a great support system. And my sister, of course, we message each other every day, and just having an outlet in your life, someone to talk to and listen to you, is so great. And then also friends, guys. Like, you might be like, I'm too old for friends, like I don't need a friend in my life, but just this summer I have seriously taken the friendships that I have in my community to the next level, and we've actually started like a mom tribe, and it has been super impactful to me to have people in my life that I think about and pray for regularly, and they pray for me regularly. And when we see each other in the community, it's just like, oh, friend, you know, somebody else that understands. We don't all have the same like life. Like there's homeschool moms, there's public school moms, there's, you know, like working moms, stay-at-home moms. So there's like differences, but like we all are moms, and it's been really super awesome. There's a group of 7 of us ladies that meet, and I just encourage and challenge you guys to find some friends. Like, super important. You might be like, I don't have any friends. Go, be vulnerable, find some friends. You need people looking into your life to offer you help and support. When we got this our foster son, I had almost all of the ladies. One of them brought me lasagna, even a vegan lasagna, because I'm a vegan. I'm not a vegan, I eat vegan food. And they brought lasagna for our family. Another one brought us a bunch of clothes and toys, and another one brought us a bunch of clothes and toys as well. Like just giving advice and giving us prayers and just so much support. It's just absolutely unreal, and I'm just so thankful for them, and I couldn't have done it without them for sure. I could, but it would just be hard and lonely. And then number 7 here, moving right along, my husband, of course. Your spouse needs to be a support system to you. If you are not on the same page with adoption and foster care with your spouse, I would suggest getting out like right now. You can't really parent by yourself, and it's just not healthy to do it like that. You need both of you 100% on board in every instance. I have a rule in our house now, me and my husband both do, that we don't say yes to a placement unless we are both 100% on board, period. Like, it's not worth it. We don't do another adoption unless we both want to. Just so many different things. And talking to your spouse about your feelings, sometimes you can be the most vulnerable with them, and it's hard to be vulnerable with a lot of people, but you should be able to be vulnerable with your spouse, with your fears, with your sadness. If you have a placement, go home to a situation that's not exactly ready. You need to express those fears, or express the joys. Be like, no, I'm happy that this child's going home, or I'm really scared that I'm not connecting with this child. I'm really afraid of attachment, and how this child's not connecting to me right now is really scary to me, or like the feelings of like, I'm not really attached to this child yet, but I'm just faking it. And you need to express those things to somebody, and especially your husband or your wife. It's the most important person to do it to. I would suggest doing date nights or whatever it is. For us, it just looks like when the kids go into bed, we connect a little bit, we watch a movie, or we talk, or we play a card game or something like that. That might be our date night, because you just can't leave the house with all these kids, you know what I mean? So you just can't. And so some of the ways we connect is through those things, but sometimes we set a rule that we won't talk about the children during those times. So if that helps you guys at all, like, you need to connect with your spouse is all I'm saying. It's a huge support system. It'll keep you sane. Number 8 here is social workers and also agency that you're working with. I love all my social workers. Oh, I love them. I ask them questions so many times. They have been such a dream to work with. Their job is so important, and I respect them so much. And they are a huge wealth of knowledge for me. And I know they get a bad name a lot, but I love social workers so much. They're doing the best they can with the situation that they have. Adoption is messy, and it's just messy, and it's a yucky job sometimes to be a social worker. So I love them, and I appreciate them so much. So I would use your social worker a lot, like to ask them questions about your case, ask them questions about how to parent. They will give you resources in the community that you didn't even know about. Be like, hey, my kid's struggling with this. What do I do next? Can we get them to counseling? They'll help you find the right resources that you need to support your child, especially in foster care, of course. And then number 9, last but certainly not least, is the Holy Spirit. I always have said that I couldn't do this without God. He gives us so much knowledge, so much hope, even on the hardest days when you're feeling like you might want to give up because this is so weird and it's so crazy and I don't feel qualified. And like, we aren't qualified. So we are leaning on the Holy Spirit's strength to help us parent these children and to help them feel connected so they can have relationships that are healthy someday. And there has been several times where I stopped and I prayed and I asked God, like, what am I supposed to do? And he's always pulled through and he's always given me grace. This one time we were having such a hard time just parenting our children and like figuring things out. And I was like, hang on, like, Holy Spirit, what do you want to do right now? And I just heard the word grace. Like, I heard it in my spirit and I was like, okay. So what we did is we sat all the kids down and we released them from all their punishments. We started over and we gave them grace that day. And like, it was what they needed. We needed to not punish. We needed to not push back. We needed to give them grace. So he knows what our children need. I would encourage you to use the Holy Spirit to pray for birth families. We have seen so much success in this, and yeah, I'm super excited for what God's doing in our birth families. So yeah, awesome support systems for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's not an exhausted list, of course. There's so many other resources out there. I didn't even go into all the details of all the books and trainings you could do for a support system, but I wanted you to know that you're not alone and you can have support and you could be in the zone every day and you could be a successful adoptive / foster mom or dad. So yeah, I love you guys. I hope you guys are having the best day ever and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.